think of when I say the word Mustang? Some people will think of Spirit, Stallion of the Cimarron. Others may think of the famous band stallions, Cloud or Picasso. And some, like my dad, will simply think of a sporty car. But for me, I think of some of the best horses I've ever worked with. My name is Ashlyn Popiwczak, and today I'm going to introduce you to the heart of the wild and inform you on how you can get involved. First, let's talk a bit about why Mustangs are rounded up. As of March of 2020, the Bureau of Land Management, or BLM for short, reports that there are over 90,000 horses and burros in the wild today. The BLM manages 177 herd management areas, or HMAs, that span across 10 states. These HMAs spread across 26.9 million acres of land. Mustangs are rounded up for several different reasons, including drought, overpopulation, lack of forage, and wildfires. They're also rounded up in several different ways. Most commonly, they're rounded up by helicopter, by four-wheeler, by horseback, or through the use of a lure trap. Once rounded up, they're then processed, branded, a neck tag is put on for identification purposes, dewormed, vaccinated, blood is drawn for coggins, stallions are gelded, hooves are trimmed if needed, and some are also microchipped. Mustangs and burros come in a large variety of sizes, builds, and colors. The influence of Spanish or draft blood in some horses will affect their build and the length of their hair. The average height for a Mustang is 13 to 15 hands high, and the average height for a burro is 11 hands high. However, they can be either shorter or taller than these averages. So, you're interested in adopting a Mustang. You may be wondering what the requirements are. First, and most importantly, you must not have a history of animal cruelty. Then, you must meet certain facility requirements. For fencing, the minimum height for a burro is 4.5 feet tall. The minimum height for a horse under the age of 2 is 5 feet tall, and the minimum height for a horse over the age of 2 is 6 feet tall. You must also provide adequate shelter, which is determined by which state you're in. In my home state, it's as simple as a tree to provide shade, but in the cold northern states, you must provide a 3-sided shed for protection from the wind and snow. When you go to pick up your Mustang, you must have a specific kind of trailer. The most important requirement for your trailer is that it must not have a ramp. It can also not have a divider, and if you have a slant trailer, slants must either be removed or tied back. I personally use a 16-foot long open stock trailer with a single full-height swinging door. Now, where can you adopt a Mustang from? You have a lot of options. You can visit your closest BLM corrals and see what's available, go to scheduled adoption events around the country, bid in online or in-person auctions, compete in a Mustang training challenge, or adopt through the trainer incentive program. The average price for a horse or burro is $25 or $125. When you adopt through an auction, you can expect to pay anywhere from as low as $25 to over $10,000. When you adopt through the trainer incentive program, you will pay $125 for a horse or burro that has received basic training from a tip trainer, such as myself. These requirements include the ability to be touched, haltered, lead, load into a trailer, and pick up all 4 feet. If you want a saddle-trained Mustang, you can either adopt through the BLM prison training programs, or you can bid in the adult division auction at an extreme Mustang makeover. You can expect to pay anywhere from under $1,000 or over $20,000 for one of these horses. Now, if you want to compete in a Mustang training challenge, you have a couple of options. In an extreme Mustang makeover, adult competitors are given 100 days to train their horse under saddle, and youth competitors have 100 days to train their horse on the ground. Adult competitors must get a horse over the age of 4, and youth competitors must get a horse under the age of 2. At the conclusion of the event, adult competitors must put their horse through the Extreme Mustang Makeover auction, but youth competitors can choose to either adopt their horse out through private sale or keep their horse. In a tip challenge, both youth and adult competitors compete in hand, and they can also choose to compete with a burro. Adults can compete with any age of horse, but youth must still get a horse under the age of 2. In these competitions, both youth and adult competitors can choose to either keep their horse or adopt them out through private sale at the conclusion of the event. For both Extreme Mustang Makeovers and Tip Challenges, it costs $25 for youth to compete and $125 for adults to compete. This simply covers the adoption fee of the horse. When you adopt a Mustang, there are 2 sale types, adoption and sale authority. Adoption horses have not been passed on at previous adoption events. These horses cost $125, and when you adopt them, you sign a private maintenance and care agreement, or PMACA for short, that states that you will care for the horse for a year before the BLM will issue their legal tiding stating that you own the horse. In this year, if the horse is being mistreated, the BLM can seize it, and it cannot leave the country due to being government property. The other sale type, sale authority, means the horse has either been passed on 3 times at previous adoption events or is over the age of 11 years old. These horses cost $25, and when you adopt them, you simply sign a bill of sale and they're immediately legally yours. So, now that you have your Mustang, let's touch a little bit on the training process. This is something I could stand up here and talk about for hours, but unfortunately I have to summarize it for you today. First of all, this is a wild animal. You have to earn their trust. I personally choose to use approach and retreat methods to get them comfortable with me being in their space. From there, my first goal is to get their neck tag off. Once their tag is off, I work on getting them comfortable enough for me to put a halter on them. Once haltered, they have to learn all of the basics. Leading, loading, tying, lunging, even something as simple as learning to go into a stall. These are all things that we completely take for granted when working with domesticated horses. It's important during this time to expose them to lots of new people so that they don't develop what I call stranger danger. This is not a short process by any means. Some horses will have fear and aggression issues to work through. It's important to not compare your progress to others. The most important thing to remember is to stay patient, stay safe, and have fun. So, once your horse has a solid foundation of groundwork, you may be wondering what you can do with it under saddle. The answer is whatever you put your mind to. Mustangs are incredibly versatile horses and can do anything from Western events, English events, saddle seat, driving, and everything in between. Now, here's the big question. Why should you adopt a Mustang? As of March of 2021, the BLM reports that there are over 50,000 wild horses and burros in holding facilities across the country. Last year, the BLM spent $91 million of taxpayer money to take care of these horses and burros. While they are treated well in holding facilities, adopting a wild horse or burro will give them a chance at a life outside of a holding pen. It's also the most amazing feeling in the world to earn the trust and respect of a wild animal. It's truly a process unlike any other. Since getting involved in 2019, I've competed in 4 tip challenges, with my 5th being this month, and 1 extreme Mustang makeover. I've gentled 9 Mustangs, 8 burros, rescued 2 Mustangs from local neglect cases, and trained a Mustang for someone else. It's also incredibly therapeutic, and I understand why there are Mustang veteran programs out there, as it's been very beneficial to my mental health. And along this journey, I've made countless friends and connections, and these amazing animals have truly changed my life. In this speech, we talked about why and how Mustangs are rounded up, the requirements, cost, and where you can adopt a Mustang, touched a little bit on the training process, and why you should adopt a Mustang. I hope that this speech sparks an interest in you so that you too can fall in love with the heart of the wild. Thank you.